A General Dictionary of the English Language. By Samuel Johnson. Master of Arts. First published in 1755, in 2 volumes. Letter A. From abrogate to absentee. To abrogate. Verb active. Abrogo, Latin. To take away from, a law its force. To repeal, to annul. Such laws, as have been made upon special occasions. Which occasions ceasing, laws of that kind, do abrogate themselves. Richard Hooker, Book 4, Section 14. The negative precepts of men, may cease by many instruments. By contrary customs, by public disrelish, by long omission. But the negative precepts of God, never can cease. But when they are, expressly abrogated, by the same authority. Jeremy Taylor's, Rule of Living Holy. Abrogation. Noun substantive. Abrogatio, Latin. The act of abrogating. The repeal of a law. The commissioners from, the Confederate Roman Catholics, demanded the abrogation, and repeal of all those laws, which were, in force against the exercise of the Roman religion. Edward Hyde, Earl of Clarendon, Book 8. To abrook. Verb active. From to brook. With a superabundant, a word not in use. To brook. To bear, to endure. Sweet Nell. Ill can, thy noble mind abrook. The abject people, gazing on thy face. With envious looks, still laughing at, thy shame. William Shakespeare, Henry VI, Part 2. Abrupt. Adjective. Abruptus, Latin. Broken off. 1. Broken, craggy. Resistless, roaring, dreadful, down it comes. From the rude mountain, and the mossy wild. Tumbling through, rocks abrupt. James Thomson's, Winter. 2. Divided, without anything intervening. Or spread, his airy flight. Upborne with, indefatigable wings. Over the vast abrupt, ere he arrive. The Happy Isle. John Milton's, Paradise Lost, Book 2, line 409. 3. Sudden, without the customary, or proper preparatives. My lady, craves. To know, the cause of, your abrupt departure. William Shakespeare's, Henry VI. The abrupt, and unkind breaking off. The 2 first parliaments was, wholly imputed to, the Duke of Buckingham. Edward Hyde, Earl of Clarendon. Abrupt, with eagle speed, he cut the sky. Instant invisible, to mortal eye. Then first, he recognized, the ethereal guest. Alexander Pope's, Odyssey, Book 1. 4. Unconnected. The abrupt style, which hath many breaches. And doth, not seem to end, but fall. Ben Jonson's, Discovery. Abrupted. Adjective. Abruptus, Latin. A word little in use. Broken off suddenly. The effects of whose activity are not precipitously abrupted, but gradually proceed to their cessations. Thomas Brown's, Vulgar Errors, Book 6, Chapter 10. Abruption. Noun substantive. Abruptio, Latin. Breaking off. Violent and sudden separation. Those, which are enclosed in stone, marble, or such other solid matter, being difficultly separable from it, because of its adhesion to all sides of them, have commonly some of that matter still adhering to them, or at least marks of its abruption from them on all their sides. John Woodward's, Natural History, page 4. Abruptly. Adverb. C. Abrupt. Hastily, without the due forms of preparation. The sweetness of virtue's disposition, jealous even over itself. suffered her not to enter abruptly into questions of Musidorus. Philip Sidney, Book 2. now, missing from their joy, so lately found. So lately found, and so abruptly gone. Paradise Regained, Book 2. They, both of them, punctually observed the time thus agreed upon, and that in whatever company or business they were engaged. They left it abruptly, as soon as the clock warned them to retire. Joseph Addison, The Spectator, number 241. Abruptness. Noun substantive. From abrupt. 1. An abrupt manner. Haste, suddenness, untimely vehemence. 2. The state of an abrupt thing. Unconnectedness, roughness, cragginess. The crystallized bodies, found in the perpendicular intervals, are easily known from those that are lodged in the strata. The former have always their root, as the jewelers call it, which is only the abruptness at the end of the body whereby it adhered to the stone, or sides of the intervals, which abruptness is caused by its being broke off from the said stone. John Woodward's Natural History, page 4. Abscess. Abscessus, Latin. A morbid cavity in the body. A tumor filled with matter. A term of chirurgery. If the patient is not relieved, nor dies in 8 days, the inflammation ends in a suppuration and an abscess in the lungs, and sometimes in some other part of the body. John Arbuthnot, of Diet. Lindenus conjectured it might be some hidden abscess in the mesentery, which breaking some few days after, was discovered to be an opostum of the mesentery. Gideon Harvey, on consumptions. To abscind. Verb active. To cut off, either in a natural or figurative sense. Abscissa. Latin. Part of the diameter of a conic section, intercepted between the vertex and a semiordinate. Abscission. Noun substantive. Abscisio, Latin. 1. The act of cutting off. Fabricius ab aquapendent. Renders the abscission of them difficult enough, and not without danger. Richard Wiseman's Surgery. 2. The state of being cut off by cessation of oracles with Montecutius. We may understand this intercision, not abscission or consummate desolation. Sir Thomas Brown's Vulgar Errors, Book 6, Chapter 12. To abscond. Verb neuter. Abscondo, Latin. To hide one's self. To retire from the public view. Generally used of persons in debt, or criminals eluding the law. Absconder. Noun substantive. From abscond. The person that absconds. Absence. Noun substantive. See, absent. 1. The state of being absent. Opposed to presence. Sir, it is fit. You have strong party to defend yourself. By calmness or by absence. All is in danger. William Shakespeare, Coriolanus. His friends beheld and pitied him in vain. For what advice can ease a lover's pain? Absence, the best expedient they could find, might save the fortune, if not cure the mind. John Dryden, Fables. 2. Want of appearance, in the legal sense. Absence is of a fourfold kind, or species. The first is a necessary absence. As in banished persons, this is entirely necessary. A second, necessary and voluntary. As, upon the account of the commonwealth, or in the service of the church. The third kind the civilians call a probable absence. As that of students, on the score of study. And the fourth, an absence entirely voluntary. As, on the account of trade, merchandise, and the like. Some add a fifth kind of absence, which is committed, cum dolo et culpa, by a man's non-appearance on a citation, as in a contumacious person, who, in hatred to his contumacy, is, by the law, in some respects, reputed as a person present. John Ailliff's Paragon Juris Canonici. You have given no dissertation upon the absence of lovers, nor laid down any methods how they should support themselves under those separations. Joseph Addison, The Spectator, number 241. 3. Inattention, heedlessness, neglect of the present object. I continued my walk, reflecting on the little absences and distractions of mankind. Joseph Addison, The Spectator, number 77. 4. It is used with the particle from. His absence from his mother, often he'll mourn, and, with his eyes, look wishes to return. John Dryden, The Satires of Juvenal, Chapter 2. Absent. Adjective. Absens, Latin. 1. Not present. Used with the particle from. In spring the fields, in autumn hills, I love. At morn, the plains. At noon, the shady grove. But Delia always, absent from, her sight. Nor plains, at morn. Nor groves, at noon delight. Alexander Pope's Pastorals. Where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things, whose hearts are absent too. William Shakespeare's Macbeth. Whether they were absent or present, they were vexed alike. Book of Wisdom, chapter 11, verse 11. 2. Absent in mind, inattentive, regardless of the present object. I distinguish a man that is absent, because he thinks of something else, from him that is absent, because he thinks of nothing. Joseph Addison, The Spectator, number 77. To absent. Verb active. To withdraw. To forbear, to come into presence. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and, in this harsh world, draw thy breath in pain, to tell my tale. William Shakespeare's Hamlet. But, if thou thinkest, trial unsought may find us both secure, then, thus warned, thou seemest go, for thy stay, not free, absents thee more. John Milton's Paradise Lost, Book 9, line 372. Though I am forced thus to absent myself from all I love, I shall contrive some means, some friendly intervals, to visit thee. Thomas Southern's The Spartan Dame. The Arango, however, is still called together in cases of extraordinary importance, and if, after due summons, any member absents himself, he is to be fined to the value of about a penny English. Joseph Addison's Remarks on Italy. Absentaneous. Adjective. Relating to absence, absent. Dictionary. Absentee. Noun substantive. He that is absent from his station, or employment, or country. A word used, commonly with regard to Irishmen living out of their country. Then, was the first statute made against absentees, commanding all, such as had land in Ireland, to return and reside thereupon. Sir John Davies, on Ireland. A great part of estates in Ireland are owned by absentees, and such as draw over the profits raised out of Ireland, refunding nothing. Sir Josiah Childs, Discourse on Trade. Next page begins with absinthiated. Original source text is in the public domain. This audio recording, including AI-assisted narration, restoration, and editorial structure is copyrighted. 2026 by Musafolios. All rights reserved. Abrogate. 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 Abrogation. 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 Abrook. 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 Abrupt. 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 Abrupted. 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 Abruption. 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 Abruptly. 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 Abruptness. 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 Abscess. 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 Abscend. 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 Abscissa. 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 Abscission. 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 Abscond. 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 Absconder. 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 Absence. 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 Absent. 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 Absentaneous. 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 Absentee. Absentee. Absentee.